Hey, what's going on everyone? Today I'm going to be sharing with you the strategy that I used to beat Tier 6 of Gorwell's Great Escape, the gear event that requires space characters. Now my space faction is currently max, so I'm able to pretty easily complete Tier 6. However, this strategy does work with lower star level space characters. I used lower star space characters to complete it initially, and it wasn't too bad. I do recommend high level abilities, specifically for Reed. This ability right here is very important to have maxed, or at least to Tier 3, to have that guaranteed stun, or my bad, Tier 4 right here is where you actually unlock that guaranteed stun. At Tier 3, you have to get a critical hit. But yeah, a lot of these abilities are pretty important. This one is actually really helpful to have upgraded, even though it looks like a pretty bad ability. It is pretty useful. It's sort of like a half stun, kind of, except not really. It just basically slows them down a decent chunk, which is pretty useful, especially once you get to the end, or at the third wave of Tier 6. That's where it starts to get interesting, because then Garmadon shows up, and you want to make sure he is not taking very many turns. Also, Commander Cold's abilities, these last two right here, are very important as well. This ability is going to give defense up and skill up, as well as dodgy to Ice Planet heroes, which is both him and Kelvin. The hardest thing about Tier 6 is getting gold, because you need all of your heroes to stay alive, which is very difficult because space has very little healing as it is, especially without Gorwell. Gorwell does have a nice ult, which can heal quite a bit, but without her, you pretty much have to rely on Locust healing himself with his taunt ability right here, which we're going to talk about when we actually get into the battle. Also, having them all at Gear 6 is probably going to be essential, because you need that extra survivability to make sure your units don't die. Also, having Locust ult here maxed is going to help quite a bit as well. Getting that disarmed is going to be very, very useful. Basically, just upgrade as many abilities as you possibly can, and typically do their basics last. Those are the least important to max on these characters. But alright, let's just hop right into the battle, and I'll kind of show you the strategy that I used to actually win this battle. Also, by the way, I am using a 5-star Galaxy Explorer set. You can see that right here, but all the abilities are at level 1. So I'm getting some minor buffs here, like at the start of a Space Hero's turn, they have a chance to gain skill up, increase their speed by 1%, so not super great buffs here. Not a whole lot is happening. Maybe some debuff cleanses and a slight chance at a buff clear, but this set isn't really going to play too much of a part into the actual battle itself, and the set you actually use won't really matter. And just to show that, I'm going to go ahead and use my unleveled set right here, the Ice Station Odyssey, which gives a 5% speed increase, a skill increase by 5%, and then a chance to inflict damage over time when a hero inflicts stun, which will do almost nothing. So just to kind of show you that the set doesn't really matter, we're going to use that one, and let's just hop into the battle. So it's pretty straightforward. I am going to kind of breeze through this pretty easily because my team is all 7 stars, but the same general strategy should still apply. So here you're actually going to want to take out Yeti first, because he's going to taunt anyway, and you're just going to want to take him out as quickly as possible. You can go ahead and use Locust AoE to start, and what I like to do here is reduce pep on Blacktron Dwayne, because you don't want him to be taking turns, because he does quite a bit of damage, relatively. He's not exactly the best damage dealer in the game, but if you're running like 5-6-star space characters, any amount of damage you take, you won't be able to recover except on Locust, so you want to reduce the damage you take as much as possible. Now, here I'm actually going to try to stun Yeti, and that landed. So now what we can do is follow up with Dwayne's attack right here, and Dwayne will do extra damage to foes that have stun. So this works quite well, and we already have him pretty low. He missed his turn because of the stun, and now we can take him out. It might take you a few more turns with a few more characters to actually kill him, but go for Yeti first, and then you're going to want to go after, the order doesn't really matter as much here because they're all attackers and they will all do a decent amount of damage, but I like to go for Dwayne and then Zane, and then Chicken Suit Guy, and last Hot Dog Man. So we can just go for Dwayne right here with a couple hits. And there we go, he's out of there. Nice 4K hit there from Kelvin. And this should take him out. Perfect. And now we have some time bombs. We have to keep an eye on those because they might do some damage, because that is 20%, but it is only one. So we just have to make sure that we don't get too many of those stacked up on any one of our characters. Here what we're actually going to do is, yeah, we'll just use a basic. We're going to save our ultimate for later. When the next wave starts, that's when we're going to use it to try to get that disarmed on as many of these enemies as possible. Now here you're not going to want to go after Highwayman, even though he is a big damage dealer, because if you don't have 7-star characters, you probably won't be able to kill him before he goes under stealth, and then you'll have wasted all that damage because he will be healed back up by Hiker and Fitness Instructor. So instead, what I like to do here is just take out Spooky Girl or Hot Dog Suit Guy or Hot Dog Man next. So I'm going to go straight for Spooky Girl because these two are the main damage dealers. You don't really have to worry about these two as much because they're not going to do a lot of damage. They're just going to heal. So you can kind of ignore them until you kill the other two right here. Now we do have a stun available actually, so we're going to try to stun Highwayman. And look at that, we got the stun. So you can go after him right now, but just to kind of show you that you don't have to, I'm just going to go for Spooky Girl first. And now Garmadon has spawned in. This is where it really starts to get interesting, because you have to make sure that you're controlling his pep as much as possible. Now Commander Cold has this chance to reduce pep if he has skill up 2, which he does not. So we're not going to attack Garmadon just yet. We're going to instead go for Highwayman, because he does have ability block or disarmed. So we're just going to go for it. 1700, not bad. And hopefully we'll be able to kill him. Before he goes under stealth, we'll go ahead and do an AoE. And there we go, he has to use a basic. And now we're going to be able to take him out with a basic attack right there. Okay, Highwayman is out of the battle. We're again going to leave these two alone. Let's see, Kelvin, we're going to go against Hot Dog guy right here. And now we're going to get buffs, get that skill up 2 on Commander Cold so he can now reduce pep, as well as defense up on everyone to hopefully take less damage from Garmadon here. Now unfortunately we don't have our stun ready, which I would have used on Garmadon here. So instead we're going to go ahead and use this ability to take out Hot Dog guy there. See, that was a really big hit, 4.6 thousand. Which is going to be a lot against your characters if they are at a lower star level. Mine are not, so I'm mostly okay. Also, having that dodgy on Kelvin and Commander Cold is very helpful when up against Garmadon here at the end. So since Locust is low, I'm going to go ahead and heal him up using his taunt ability. And now we have this ability ready, which is considered pretty useless, but we can use this against Garmadon to reduce his pep to 0. And now we can really start doing damage on him. We can do a big attack right here with Dwayne. And there we go. Perfect. He's out of there. I probably didn't even need to use the stun ability. I probably just could have used a basic. But yeah, there you go. So once you have that pep ability from Kelvin and the stun ability from Reed ready to go, you want to use this against Garmadon and try to take him out before he takes too many turns. Again, as you're seeing here, I'm kind of just destroying this team pretty easily because of the star level of my characters, but if they are a bit lower, it will be a bit more difficult. You're just going to want to try to control Garmadon as much as possible using both Reed's stun and Kelvin's pep reduction, as well as Commander Cold's pep reduction. If he has skill up 2, he will have that chance to reduce 30% pep as well. And there we go, we got some really good gear from that. This I had quite a bit of, 700, but this I only had a few of. So there you go, and I was also using a set that pretty much played no part in that battle. So it definitely is doable. You just have to kind of play it correctly. In the beginning, you want to take out Yeti because he's going to taunt anyway. Then you're going to want to start trying to take out the attackers that are left. I recommend starting with Dwayne and then going to Zane and saving the Hot Dog guy for the end because then he will be there when the second wave spawns. And when that next wave does spawn, you can pretty much ignore Fitness Instructor and Hiker early on. If you can, try to snipe Highwayman, but it may not be possible depending on your star level, because Highwayman might just go under stealth. But if you do have Locust's ult available, which you should save for wave 2, you might be able to get that disarmed on Highwayman, and then you won't be able to go under stealth, and that'll probably give you enough time to get a stun on him and then kill him. Also, pay attention to which units you are stunning and use Dwayne's attacks against them to do extra damage. Also, at that point with Wave 2, I recommend going for Spooky Girl first. She does quite a bit of damage. You want to get her out of the battle. Then you can go for Hot Dog Guy, and Garmadon will have spawned in by now. Basically, he's going to do a lot of damage, so you want to control his pep as much as possible. And when you start going after him, make sure you have Kelvin's pep reduction ready, as well as Reed's stun, because if he uses, I believe it's his second special ability. Let's check real quickly. Here he is. This one right here. No, okay, it is his first special ability. Yeah, this one right here, he will recover a ton of health, 125% of the total damage dealt, which is an AoE. So he's basically going to immediately go to full health when he uses this ability right here. So if you can get a stun on him, that will be really helpful, because then he'll miss a turn and he won't be able to heal up, and he does have a lot of health. So it's very important that you have those abilities ready to go when you are ready to go after Garmadon, ready to take him out. Also, it might help to save any of your other big attacks to use against him as well. And then you can take out the remaining healers, and then Highwayman last if he is still hiding under stealth. Also, I recommend using Locust Taunt whenever Locust gets low on health, or depending on the gear level of your character's gear/star level, you may need to use it in an emergency to save one of your units if they are really, really low. Maybe like Reed is just on a sliver of health, then you're going to want to go ahead and use Locust Taunt. Let Locust absorb some of the damage. Basically, you just don't want any of your characters to die so that you can get that gold trophy. That is going to be the hardest part. You're probably going to be able to beat this battle without too much trouble, but getting the gold trophy is going to be the hard part, so make sure you time Locust Taunts to protect your units. Only use it when you have to, because you don't want Locust taking too much damage, or else he might die early. So save his taunts for when either he falls low, and then you can heal him back up, as well as taunt, or when one of your allies is getting really, really close to death, and that is when you should use it. Also, one other thing I want to mention is Reed's second special ability. This one right here is going to do a lot of extra damage to enemies that have buffs. So if you see an enemy, maybe like Garmadon, that has a lot of buffs, go ahead and use this ability against them, and it will do a lot of extra damage. But yeah, that right there is going to be my guide for Tier 6 of the Gorwell's Great Escape event. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you control Garmadon at the end, and you should be just fine. Alright, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching.